Universal Orlando takes fear to the max. This year, the 80s return with a vengeance, with 10 totally terrifying haunted houses, 5 pulse-pounding scare zones, and outrageous live entertainment. From cinematic screams to the most horrifying cult classics, there's no escape from the decade that just won't die. This year, Stranger Things returns with an all-new haunted house where you'll travel back to the small town of Hawkins, Indiana, and walk through some of the most terrifying scenes from Stranger Things 2 and 3. Terror is about to be unleashed with Universal Pictures' iconic Universal Monsters coming to Halloween Horror Nights. In this all-new haunted house, the world's most terrifying monsters unleash havoc, thirsty for anything and everything in their path. Celebrating its 35th anniversary, you'll jump through the movie screen of the original 1984 film and walk through some of your favorite scenes, like the Temple of Gozer and more. In this classic Ghostbusters haunted house, you'll be transported to the streets of New York as the rift between worlds opens, releasing ghouls, spirits, hideous specters, and ectoplasm dripping phantoms in every shape and size. Killer Clowns from Outer Space returns this year in its own house. This new experience will feature a gaggle of new characters including baby clowns and Clownzilla. Try to evade them or you're likely to end up captured in one of their cotton candy cocoons and doomed to a terrible fate. Are you ready to enter the shocking reality of Academy Award-winning filmmaker Jordan Peele's and Universal Pictures horror hit Us? In this new haunted house, you'll walk through Wilson's Family Beach House and Santa Cruz Pier, where you might spot a familiar character outside of the funhouse. Prepare to run for your life, as there is no escaping yourself.
Boys and girls, you are about to enter a world of darkness. A world where life and death are meaningless.
Ever wonder how many corpses you can fit inside a house? 1, 10, do we dare say 1,000? Find out with 1,000 corpses. This new haunted house based on Rob Zombie's horror. If you have a fear of water and what lies beneath, your skin will crawl with this new haunted house. Depths of Fear mixes all the elements of the unknown with underwater elements, monstrous creatures, and a countdown to a disastrous fate. Imagine yourself transported back to ancient Rome, where a ruthless emperor reigns and gladiatorial games are put on for bloody entertainment. Add in bloodthirsty creatures, and you'll find yourself in the middle of Nightingale's blood pit. From the evil geniuses who brought you Attack of the Swamp Yeti in last year's Grindhouse-themed Slaughter Cinema House comes a frightening new take on the fear-inducing folklore of the wild Yeti. But beware, because this experience will trade B-movie scares for bloodthirsty terror that will send you running in the opposite direction. The snows will be red with blood in the Yeti, Terror of the Yukon, Haunted House. In the Ascension Parish Cemetery, it's normal to find teens playing amongst the tombstones. You'll find yourself witnessing the repercussions of the disrespectful antics of two teens who have awakened the spirits of the dead. As you roam through the cemetery, you'll wind through dark mausoleums and decaying piles of coffins. Ghosts of every shape and form will rise from the tombstones to exact their revenge as you try to escape the maze of crumbling tombstones and mausoleums. Skeletal beings, ghastly apparitions, and vengeful spirits will try to drag you to the grave. And in the end, you'll find out what happened to those who set out to deface the cemetery. This year's event will feature 5 terrifying scare zones. It's time to brush up on those rules of survival. Based on the hit film and its upcoming sequel, this scare zone puts you in the middle of the United States of Zombieland. The infection has spread and bloodthirsty zombies are everywhere. The most important rule? Always double tap. You know his music. Now it's time to live it. Step into the heavy metal horror of Rob Zombie's music and imagery in this pulse-pounding scare zone. An 80s-inspired arcade has taken over the Avenue of the Stars. At first glance, you may think it's a party. However, you quickly learn that game over means a permanent end for you. A gang of neon slashers are out to play. And this is one game you won't want to lose. Beauty is pain, literally. In the streets of Hollywood, your flesh becomes the canvas as blade-wielding artists slice up willing participants into horrific living works of art. Here, going under the knife takes on a whole other meaning. We're all familiar with the brutal Viking warriors. It's terrifying enough thinking about facing them alive. Now picture facing them as the undead. They have risen and laid siege to Central Park with an onslaught of gore. Bloodlust never dies. Horror Nights 29 will feature 2 live entertainment for the event. Academy of Villains returns once again in an epic experiment of mind and body. Man's true nature is dragged out into the dark gothic streets of anarchy. This wickedly talented group of artists is back for an all-new performance, featuring a killer mix of visionary dance and extraordinary theatrics. A new Lagoon show is debuting this year during the event. On select nights September 6th through November 2nd, watch as the Lagoon transforms with a spectacle of neon and synth, featuring iconic scenes from top horror films, cult classics, and TV shows in Halloween Marathon of Mayhem. Grab a bucket of popcorn and get ready as the Lagoon lights up with iconic scenes from Netflix's Stranger Things, Ghostbusters, Universal Monsters, and killer clowns from outer space. This new show features a blend of fountain-based media, state-of-the-art technologies, and special effects in a new way. This is one 80s nightmare you won't want to miss. Starting September 6th, you'll be able to experience all this terrifying haunts for yourself at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Orlando Resort, and Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, all the stuff I mentioned here today was specifically from Universal Orlando. It has been nominated as the best Halloween event 11 years in a row. Will you be there? I know I will.